Start out on your journey. You have been around forever. You were created in the very beginning. Everyone was created at the same time. You've been around forever. Earth is a young planet, over here isolated on purpose in this part of the galaxy. They don't want us to contaminate the rest of them out there. They don't want our violence to spread. They don't want us to do anything to the rest of the galaxy. So we're isolated over here on purpose. Now, this is just one of the schools you chose to come to. Before this, you've lived on other planets, other dimensions, places where you didn't even have a body. It was just an energy body. I've had every kind of life form you could imagine that people have gone into. Then finally you decide to come to Earth, and it's challenging here. They get here and they say, what was I thinking about? They said, this is horrible. They don't want to be in this body because they said it's slow, it's dense. They said, the other places I could think and I could have things happen instantaneously. What am I doing in this slow, dense world where nobody knows what's going on? Another thing I want to bring in before I forget, you know what they said? One of the big lessons of Earth is when you come in, the memories are erased. As I was talking about with Grant. It's done that way on purpose. You've got to come in as a clean slate. I asked them one time, I said, wouldn't it be easier if we knew what we were coming in for, if we knew our relationships with other people? Wouldn't that make it easier? They said, no, it wouldn't be a test if you knew the answers. Other planets, other beings, when they come to other planets, they remember the source. They remember God. They remember why they came. They remember all of their lives. Earth, they don't. They said, you come in here a blank slate, start off fresh. They say, what greater test than to have people think they're all alone? What would they accomplish if they thought they were all alone and didn't have anybody else out there? That's one of the big tests of living on Earth. And you have to find your way back, which I think is what we're doing now. We're becoming more aware. The metaphysics, we're becoming more aware of this other worlds. It's not with the church. They say so much and they stop. But we're beginning to open up and know these things now. We're beginning to find our way back by ourselves. And that's what they want us to do, to think for ourselves and get back. I always tell people at a lecture, don't believe what I say. Don't believe what anybody else says. Think for yourself. Read and ask lots of questions. Then make up your own mind. If somebody tells you, I have the truth, the only truth, run the other way. Nobody has the truth. My truth is different than yours. But you find your own, ask questions, and then come to your own conclusions. That's what it's about, using your mind. But we have to find our way back. And sometimes it can take many, many lifetimes. We build karma. We have to come back and repay the karma time and time again. We get stuck, they said, in the muck and the mire, the mud. We get stuck in that. They said it's like flypaper. And we have to keep coming back again and again to get rid of that before we can progress. Now, my book's on Jesus. Jesus did not come to save anybody from their sins because nobody can take away your karma. The only thing he came to save us from was the wheel of karma. He could see that we were going round and round, making the same mistakes again and again, and not progressing up the ladder like we were supposed to do. We were stuck. His idea was to come and show people what you were supposed to do to get off of the wheel. And it all goes back to love. Everything goes back to love. That's the highest force there is. But they didn't understand, and they killed him. That's all it is. Once you get off of this wheel, you have to progress or you're stuck here. We don't want to be stuck here anymore because there's big, big changes are happening. We want to be able to move with these changes. You can't as long as you're stuck up in karma. We have to get rid of the karma. They said the thing you must do right now at this time is get rid of all your old karma and try not to make any more. And also to get rid of fear. Fear holds you back. And as you know, the government, everybody else tries to keep you in fear. Doctors, religion, everybody tries to hold you in fear. You must release the fear, get rid of the fear, and get rid of the karma if you're going to move. Because this is a big time. We can't move as long as this stuff is holding us back. But when you come here anyway, you get to Earth after you've done all these other lives on other places. This is not the only place. People are amazed that they found out they've had one other life on Earth. You've had hundreds and hundreds of lives everywhere. And when you get done with Earth, you're probably going to say, okay, I'm going to go over to this other solar system over here and have some other experiences. You're constantly moving and to other schools and learning other things. But when you come to Earth, you have to be everything. And I do agree with what the other ones are saying. It's all happening at the same time. But I like to think of it linearly because my mind can handle it better that way. Then you could get off into the other parts. But I have had people had lives in every possible form you can think of. And I have not yet had anyone come to me who has not had a past life of some form. People always say, how do you believe in this? Because I said I haven't found anybody yet who has not experienced a past life. So it has to mean something. Like, with PMH, to me, that's science, I think. If I do the same procedure thousands of times and get the same results, to me, that's scientific evidence. That's what I believe, anyway. Would you agree? If it's a provable thing, they won't agree. I know the scientists wouldn't agree, but to me, I think it's, okay. If everyone comes up with the same thing, I think it has to mean something. Because that's what they do in scientific experiments. They do the same thing over and over, looking for the same results. Okay. You're going to consider it anyway. Okay. But anyway, to me, I think it's provable that I know everyone has had past lives. But okay, let's put it in a linear progression. First, you have to be everything. First, you have to be air. You have to know what everything is like. And I had my first exposed to that was in the book, Legacy from the Stars. A man wanted to go back to his first life he'd ever lived on Earth. I thought he was going to go back to a caveman or something. He went back to where the Earth was still forming, where they had volcanoes erupting, ammonia in the air, and you couldn't have any life here at that time. He was part of the air, along with others, cleaning the ammonia out of the atmosphere. But yet he had a personality. He could converse with me. And when he wasn't doing that, he was swimming in and out of the lava and having a great time. So we have to know what it's like to be, I don't know what you would call it, chemicals, elements, whatever. Well, then we have to go to what would it be like to be a rock? Now, I've got a whole section in the new book on people who have had all of these lives at different things. Being a rock is very slow. Everything is alive. Everything is vibrating at a different rate. Rocks are vibrating very, very slow. So you don't think you're going to stay in these lives very long, but you have to know what it's like. And then they would go into lives where they were plants. And I've had to be an acorn. I've had to be a rose. He said being a rose is beautiful, but it doesn't last very long. But what would it be like? Because we have to, if we understand this, we will realize we've been all of these things. We're all one. We would take better care of our earth if we realized we're all part of everything. So, what would it be like to be a plant? Okay, then what would it be like to be an animal? would it be like to be a wolf and be able to run? What would it be like to be a bird, be able to fly? I've got wonderful stories in the new book of how an eagle sees, how a spider sees. Because I want to know these things. And there are things the scientists don't know, because how do they know what goes on in the brains of these creatures? So that's what I'm writing about in this new part. All these experiences I've had where people have been these different animals and plants and things. But there was something there that they needed to know, that they needed to learn. Okay, then there is also the little people, what we call the keepers of the plants. Every culture has these. The nature spirits, the nature, what do you call them, the dryads, the nymphs, the fairies, all of those. They are all over the world. These are the keepers of nature. The plants and the animals. We have all been these things also. So we're having all of these different things that we're a part of. Eventually, we're going to get into the humans. So many people coming to me who are either healers or they want to be healers. I mean, it's just about everybody that walks through that door. It's a huge number. A lot of them are working with Reiki, with energy, healing, all kinds of different modalities. And they're all working with energy and different healing. And other ones, when they ask for their purpose is going to be, they said, you must go and heal. You must learn healing. They never tell you your purpose is to have a good time and go get drunk and, have sex and party. They always tell the people their purpose is to help each other, especially to learn some kind of thing that will be able to work with other people. They're always saying, we want you to learn to heal. And I asked them one time, what are you going to do with all these healers if everybody's going to be a healer? And they said, well, imagine a world like Katrina was, and all of a sudden, there's no doctors, there's no hospitals, everything's shut down. What are you going to do? You're going to have to depend on each other. And then whenever we move into the new world, there won't be any need for it because we will know how to heal ourselves. We will have gone to that point. So some of these things are kind of mind-bending. They're a little hard to understand. I've probably left a lot out, but I'm putting more and more of it in the book. And all I say is just read it. This is what they're saying is happening. But if you are noticing your body's acting funny, a lot of it could be this shifting in the vibrations and the frequencies of your body are moving with it. But these new kids are the ones that are coming in that are going to be helping everybody because they're already got everything in place. But they're always talking about the year 2012. Well, I've also had a chapter in the book about, this has happened before with other civilizations, and I'm almost finished here. Other civilizations down through history that have disappeared. The Mayans were one that disappeared. The whole thing, nobody knew where they went. There were other Indian tribes in America that have disappeared. Nobody knew where they went. Well, they said they reached the point of evolution where the whole civilization shifted en masse. The same thing we're going to do. And I had one session where a woman went back to where she was with one of these Indian groups when they all decided to shift en masse to another dimension. And she was sent back now to help it during this time. But they said the Mayans were so advanced that they knew how to do this. They could see ahead to where the next really big shift was going to occur when the entire Earth would move at once. And that was when they saw it happening around the year 2012. That's why the calendar stops at that time. But we're already in the middle of it. It's been going on for about the last 2 or 3 years. It's happening faster now. Time is speeding up. Everything is happening quicker now. You can feel it in your bodies. You know it's happening at time. We're moving faster and faster into this. By the year 2012, they said we should be reaching the peak. It's not over at that time, but it's only a few more years. We're noticing more and more things happening. A lot of the stuff happening to the world right now is the world getting rid of all this old karma. Because Earth has karma too. It's a living being. But as we move into this, toward the year 2012, you'll be seeing a lot more changes, and we will be reaching the peak to where we'll make the split. But they're not really sure how or when it's going to happen, but it's going to be around that time. But it has to, they said, because it's this evolutionary process. We're evolving, the world is evolving, everything is happening. Something to think about anyway. But in the meantime, you've got to live your lives the best way you can. Get rid of all the old karma, because that'll hold you back and keep you here. Forgive people. The quickest way, but not the easiest way, to get rid of karma is to forgive. Let it go. Let it go. There's no sense in holding on to it. It holds you back. It holds them back. I've had people tell me, I can't forgive them. You don't know what they did to me. And they end up, this is what makes them sick. They hold on to it. Causes cancer especially. They've got to, it's not important. Let it go. Tear up the contract. You don't need to work with these people anymore. Forgive them. Release it. Let go. We got more important things to do. We're moving into a whole new world out here. We don't need that other. That's what we're supposed to be focusing on. Get rid of the old karma. Don't make it any more. Treat people the way you would want to be treated. And let go of fear. Fear holds you back. Don't believe everything that's on TV. Don't believe everything that's in the newspapers. Think for yourself. Let go of the fear. Let go of the karma so you can move. Change your vibration. Does this scare you, what I've been saying? Okay. I've always been a little worried about telling audiences these things, but they said this is one of the most important things they want me to talk about right now to get people prepared.